this is Tyler, and we're from Fruit Monument High School. Today we'll be playing Relationship by Eric CWP. Hope you enjoy.
It's a hard piece, okay, those 4 mallet sections in there, they're a little tricky. There's some weird chords in terms of how we feel them out on, especially on the vibraphone. Let's go ahead and look at the last page. Some of the things that I noticed in terms of musicianship, we're not getting as much out of dynamics as we possibly can on these instruments. but I would like to actually take at G and the vibraphone. I mean, you're like fortissimo, and then you've got to come down, and then you've got to come back up. And it almost felt like we were stuck in this box. We were busy trying to get those triplet notes, and we weren't really feeling the piece musically. Because you have notes, you know, there's a couple of whiffs. That happens with new instruments, right? When that we don't play on. But for the most part, notes and rhythms are accurate. It's just in terms of shaping, we're lacking musicianship in that section. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's run that, just the vibraphone part at G. Okay, and if you need to take it a little bit slower so that you can really bring those dynamics out, I would suggest doing something. Okay. Yep. You're starting to add more in than when you first did it. Make sure we're having a tendency in technique terms that we're pointing. Yeah, we're pointing down the mallet, and that causes us to downstroke. It doesn't allow the bar to speak as much as it possibly can. And then, in terms of four mallets, while I'm talking about downstroking, we're having a tendency to do that quite a bit. Some sections you're pulling off quite nicely, especially down in your four mallet section down here. When it was slower, you were pulling off nicely. As things got a little bit more complicated, we started bringing down our strokes and not pulling up as much. And that means we don't get as much dynamic contrast, okay? So make sure you are aware of those kind of things. Another thing in terms of technique, we are playing a lot on the notes. Do we know what notes are? Yes. Okay, that's where the strings are. And we're not only doing it with four mallets, we're also doing it with two mallets, which, while I'm listening to the whole entire piece, while there's so much ringing from the resonators over, those certain notes are almost feeling like they're ghosted and you can't really hear them because you're hitting those notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
let's take, where was that section that we really doing it at? There's a lot of chords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go at D. At D, and really focus on your beating spot, okay? All right, and then I think we'll be out of time. Really focus. And that might mean that you're shoving your elbow out, right? Okay? And this is an actual time where you've actually got to point. This way, though. Okay, when we play four mallets, Stevens grip, these two fingers point at each other, which is totally opposite of two mallet technique. Okay? All right, so let's go focus really, let's do it slow, because otherwise we're not going to get a chance to focus.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Okay, let's try it nice and slow. Let's do it slow. Does this work? 1, 2, ready, and. Slide your body this way. Okay, it's got to slide your body this way and angle that way onto the instrument. Does that make sense? It's manipulating your body so that you don't get into awkward positions and you can still hit the correct beating spot. Okay. I think that is all we have time for. I wish I had more time to work with you too, but really focus on where you are hitting the instrument. That will help you with dynamics. That will help you with making sure I hear everything clearly. Okay. All right. Thank you for playing.